Hello there, you're now with me, Shel Shaminato, for TVS News at 5. Let's begin with this story. Following the announcement from the Ministry of Transport on the feasible study of adopting the latest technologies such as sensors and security cameras into cars used for driving tests, its Minister Dr. Wee Ka Seong made the announcement in Parliament, saying that the move aims to enhance the system in terms of accuracy and promote transparency, as well as further cultivating the sense of integrity among officers and personnel of the Road Transport Department. The announcement, however, received a rather mixed emotion from members of the public.
Wong Jin-sun, a fresh graduate, applauded the initiative taken by the ministry as it will ensure a fair chance for all individuals regardless of their status and background.
Well, I think it is about time that our government puts in some effort to address the flaws in our driving test systems, where bribery is such a common practice. I think people who cannot drive should not be given their driver's license just because of the fact that they pay more than what they should be paying. In my opinion, I think they should have thought of this and implemented this long ago, because this can help improve our driving test system into a more matured one.
Commenting further, Wong said with the adoption of technologies, the footage from the cameras could be viewed to solve any dispute or allegation of corruption in the testing process.
Every test process or session will be transparent to show the people the integrity of the officers, to avoid corruption in their part, where the authorities can oversee the footage or evidence to prove whether the candidates they actually fail or pass their driving tests.
Meanwhile, Koo Jin-hung is of the opinion that by depending on technology instead of manpower, it will help to minimize the misuse of power in any way.
Well, I believe that this also can help to stop the corruption, due to we will be more dependent on the technology instead of manpower.
However, she added the move will not completely wipe out corruption, but merely a step to decrease it.
For me, I believe that it won't be a very perfect method to stop any form of corruption or power or abuse, but it will be the best choice to reduce this to happen, because this technology will help us to give them some difficulties, even they try to corrupt.
On the other hand, Sherry Linda said the ministry should utilize more funds into employing more enforcement officers instead of adapting it into digital technologies.
Instead of spending money on these sensors and security cameras inside the testing vehicle, why don't we spend it on the enforcement? Either we pay people, to regulate the laws, to ensure that all road users follow the road safety rules. And we can also implement demerit system points, whereby if a year a person who have break safety rules, they will accumulate demerit points, which leads them to either pay higher license renewal fee, or they may have to sit for refresher course on road safety.
And now on to the COVID-19 development. Sarawak today recorded 2,825 new cases, placing the state at the top of the list among states and territories in the country. To date, Malaysia has reported 2,171,232 cases. Selangor came in second on the infections table today with 2,244 cases, followed by Johor with 1,807, Sabah with 1,273, Penang with 1,231 and Perak with 1,144. Other states and territories that reported three-digit cases were Kelantan, Kedah, Terengganu, Pahang, Melaka, Kuala Lumpur and Negeri Sembilan. On the other hand, Sarawak Congress of Unions of Employees in the Public and Civil Services has requested to consider giving an additional 50 ringgit a month in cost of living allowance to civil servants in Sarawak and Sabah in Budget 2022.
Its chairman, Omar Bahrain Unin, said this was especially important in tackling the rising cost of living in the two states. He also added that the increase could also provide additional income for civil servants in Sarawak and Sabah, as enjoyed by civil servants in the peninsula since January 2020. In addition, Sarawak QPAX also asked the government to review the payment rate of the regional allowance for federal civil servants serving in Sarawak and Sabah, in which the allowance had not been reviewed since it came into effect in 1988.
Sarawak Multimedia Authority merupakan satu lagi inisiatif Ketua Menteri Sarawak untuk memastikan pembangunan ekonomi digital dilaksanakan. Di bawah Dasar Ekonomi Digital Sarawak, SMA mengenal pasti 8 sektor ekonomi dan 7 pemangkin. 8 sektor ekonomi tersebut adalah pertanian, industri perkilangan 4.0, bandar pintar, pelancongan, kesihatan digital, e-perdagangan, kerajaan digital dan sosial. Manakala 7 pemangkin yang akan memacu usaha ini ialah infrastruktur digital, pembangunan bakat dan kemahiran digital, penyelidikan dan pembangunan ekonomi digital, keusahawanan dan inovasi digital, digital dan data, keselamatan cyber dan keinklusifan digital. Rakyat Sarawak diharapkan dapat membuka minda dan mencari idea-idea baru untuk menghasilkan inovasi digital bagi menjadikan Sarawak negeri maju berpendapatan tinggi menjelang 2030.
By the way, muka Fikri tu kan sama macam muka ex-boyfriend.
Atas hasutan rakan sekerja, Diana mengupah Haryani untuk menggoda dan menguji kesetiaan suaminya. Apakah kesudahan kisah Diana dan Fikri? Saksikan Kekasih Upahan Jumaat ini 9 malam hanya di TVS saluran 122 Astro dan MyTV.
Pada kepercayaan saya, selagi kita tidak putus asa, kita akan berjaya satu hari nanti. Perjalanan mesti diteruskan. Mata tetap pandang ke hadapan, matahari tetap terbit dan terbenam, walau apa jua yang berlaku. Saya berharap Sarawak boleh melahirkan lebih banyak atlet yang bertaraf dunia. Agi hidup, agi ngelaban.
Welcome back. Now, educational institutions under the Ministry of Education, or MOE, in states that have moved to the next phase of the National Recovery Plan, PPN, will operate 2 weeks after the transition takes place. This applies to states such as Johor, Pahang and Negeri Sembilan, which moved to the next phase of PPN today.
Meanwhile, the statement said the National Security Council had allowed Form 6 Semester 2 students and IGCSE O-level students in states that are still under Phase 1 of PPN to attend schools without rotation, in which the operation of educational institutions involving this group of students in Kedah will begin in October 10, while other students will continue with home-based teaching and learning. Educational institutions in Langkawi will resume operations based on Phase 4 regulations on October 3, following the announcement of the island as a destination of the Tourism Bubble Pilot Project. MOE said educational institutions in states that are not involved in the phase transition will operate based on regulations announced on September 12. The ruling also applies to all educational institutions that are not registered with the MOE, including those under state governments.
And now on to the next update. One person was killed and at least 12 were injured when a lone gunman opened fire on Thursday, September 23, at a supermarket in suburban Memphis in Tennessee. Police chief then confirmed that the gunman was found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
So I got back there and closed the door, and I heard him come to the back. I was like, oh crap, oh crap. And I heard the gunshots again. He came in there where I was, where all the other people were. He shot one in the head. He shot one of my coworkers in the head, and then he shot a customer in the stomach. And my other coworker just got a little cut right above his eye because of the asphalt. And other than that, everybody else was okay.
Police Chief Del Lane said law enforcement officers swarmed to the scene just after the shooting unfolded at around 1:30 p.m. local time at a Kroger grocery store in Collierville, Tennessee, and began helping victims and others found hiding inside the supermarket. The gunman, who was believed to have acted alone, was found dead in his vehicle at a parking lot outside the store. Collierville Police Chief Lane called the gun violence the most horrific event that has occurred in Collierville history. The town is located about 50 kilometers east of Memphis in southwestern Tennessee. No immediate explanation for a possible motive was offered by authorities.
And Circle Municipality security cameras recorded a driver losing control of his vehicle and falling downhill during a curve in Lima, Peru on Wednesday, September 22. The car was seen overturning after a turn before falling down a steep hill.
Que había perdido el control, no pudo controlar su timón y es por el cual se desbarrancó.
After the car crashed into a wall, footage shows the driver getting out of the car by climbing out of his window.
Tenía las lunas rotas, pero sí no se podía abrir mucho las puertas por el cual el conductor sale por la ventana, abollado a la parte posterior porque hay una pared, un muro que lo contiene la caída.
Miraculously, the driver escaped with no serious injuries. Paramedics reported the driver had scrapes on his calves and bumps on his elbows.
And that concludes TVS News at 5. For more updates, don't forget to tune in to 11:30 Nightline tonight. Here with me, Shol Shametro, and I'll see you tonight. Have a good evening.